the roar of the crowd. Support the Pirate Club and buy your season tickets today by visiting ECUPirates.com. We're in this together. All hands on deck. One Pirate Nation.
If you're like many, you may have put on the Corona 5, 10, or even 15 over the last 2 months. Well, the weather is warm and it's time to get that body back on track. At Clean Eats, we have you covered. Our weekly meal plan will quickly help you get back to where you want to be. Order online at cleaneats.com. Our cafe is back open, sanitized, and waiting to serve you healthy lunch and dinner options for dine-in, takeout, curbside, or even delivered through our delivery partners. Clean Eats, it's a lifestyle. 805 Red Banks Road, Arlington Village.
How much does the word reliable mean? Sure, all businesses describe themselves as reliable, and we certainly wouldn't expect any business to be unreliable, but when you take a word like reliable and make it your way of life, the entire core of your business, it tends to mean a little more. And it's something you have to show people, not tell them. At Delcor, we show it by being there the same day you call. We show it by simply doing outstanding work with exceptional products, a family-oriented work ethic, and genuine caring for all of our neighbors throughout Eastern NC, because in a time of need, we know the first and the only thing you need is someone you can count on. That's why we only use equipment you can count on too, like a train comfort system. It's hard to stop a train. Delcor can have a new train comfort system installed in no time, or we can provide an AC tune-up to make sure your system is performing well. So will your system keep you cool all summer? Find out. Call us. We're Delcor, the service professionals, reliable for over 4 decades. Visit DelcorInc.com today.
Looking for your next career opportunity or even just some extra cash to help pay for school? Your locally owned Dixon Foods McDonald's is hiring across Eastern North Carolina. They offer flexible hours, competitive pay, and even financial support to pursue your education through McDonald's Archways to Opportunity program. With plans to provide more than 100 new jobs currently, we hope you'll visit DixonFoods.com to learn more. Dixon Foods, proud to be your locally owned and locally operated franchisee for McDonald's.
Scratching beneath the surface. It's the second level on the SportsMap Radio Network.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage.
From the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's Eitan Shander.
So it is official. It looks at least like it's official. The Detroit Free Press has looked right now like this has confirmed that the Big 10 has voted to cancel their season. The two schools that were resisting, Iowa and Nebraska, but overruled. And at that point, I don't really know what's left for this conference, or the Pac-12, who is reportedly on that same side and will probably cancel their season, if not today, then tomorrow. A lot to talk about in the second hour. About what's going on, why it happened, and moving forward. Hate to spend so much on why this happened. I'd rather look at a solution more so than anything else. And that solution might be found in the SEC. Of all places. Doesn't look like the SEC's canceling anything. Second hour right now on SportsMap Radio.
This is Pirate Radio, WGHB Farmville, 1250 and 92.7 FM Greenville, WDLX Washington, 930 and 104.1 FM Washington. The following is an exclusive presentation of Pirate Radio, the voice of the Pirate Nation. This is Eastern North Carolina's longest-running sports radio call-in show. The Brian Bailey Show is on the air. The Brian Bailey Show on Pirate Radio is brought to you by
Bostic Sugg Furniture, Bojangles, East Coast Grading, Angus Grill, Gavigan Insurance, Greenville Auto World, Papa John's, Pepsi, Taft and Hagler, and by Tiebreakers.
And now, here's Brian Bailey.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome into a brand new season here on the Brian Bailey Show. My 33rd year, I believe. We kind of lost count through the years in radio, but it's great to be with you here on Pirate Radio. We're also with you on Facebook Live. We're with YouTube Live. Got a big show planned today because Jon Gilbert is live in the studio with us for the first half hour or so. Sir, welcome to the show, and you're on the hot seat, aren't you?
Thanks for having me. 33 years, that's a long time.
That is a long time, and this past year seems like it should count as 2 or 3, doesn't it?
Yes, I think this year we ought to count in dog years.
I think so. 2020 has not been the greatest of years. We'll take a first commercial break. We'll come back and we'll run things down with Jon Gilbert, the athletic director at East Carolina, when the Brian Bailey Show continues, the debut show after this.
Great news, amigos. Chico's Dine-In Service is back open every day. Come and enjoy favorites like shrimp tacos, steak and chicken fajitas, burritos, enchiladas, ACP, and more. Chico's is still offering to-go and curbside service as well by calling 757-1666. Don't forget to stock up on Chico's famous margarita mix for only $9.99 per half gallon. Follow Chico's on Facebook and Instagram for daily updates. For Mexican food and fun, it's got to be Chico's for dine-in or to-go. Wouldn't it be great if you could get auto, home, life, and business insurance all from one agency? Well, that's where the Gavigan Agency comes in. They can help protect what is important to you. So why not simplify your life? See the Gavigan Agency in Greenville or give them a call today at 252-756-1400. Nationwide is on your side.
Nationwide Mutual Insurance Company and Affiliates, Columbus, Ohio. Subject to underwriting guidelines, review, and approval.
It's summertime, and there's no better time to drive away in a quality pre-owned car or truck from Greenville Auto World. Let Greenville Auto World show you how easy it is to buy a quality used car in Greenville. We believe fair prices, superior service, and treating customers right leads to satisfied, repeat buyers. Are you planning that summer trip by car? Well, get yourself set with an oil change and 27-point inspection. Greenville Auto World, 3840 South Charles Boulevard, across from Hardee's at Bell's Fork.
Hi, I'm Ken Hagler of Taft and Hagler. We're proud to be sponsors of the Brian Bailey Show and the Pirate Nation on Pirate Radio 1250 and 930, the voice of the Pirate Nation. If you've been injured on the job or due to someone else's negligence in an automobile collision, call us at 752-2000 for a free consultation with experienced professionals who care. Go Pirates!
In studio with Bram from Tiebreakers. Bram, what's new?
Delivery's new.
What else?
Well, delivery.
What else you want to talk about?
Well, let's talk about tiebreakersnc.com, and let's talk about how good our food is at home in our delivery containers.
What makes delivery special at Tiebreakers?
Well, we use a very, very new technology called crisp containers that keeps your French fries absolutely as crisp as if you bought them at Tiebreakers.
How do they get delivered?
By us. Our delivery drivers.
How much does it cost?
Oh, right now it's nothing.
How do people do it?
They call Tiebreakers at 252-439-0555 or tiebreakersnc.com.
Bram, what else is new?
Delivery, bud. I'm telling you, it's the newest thing in the world. Delivery from Tiebreakers.
Bram, what's your favorite word right now?
Jonathan, is delivery, bud. Delivery. I'm telling you, delivery is the word. This is going to be fun.
This is Touchdown Tony Collins, and you're listening to Pirate Radio, the voice of the Pirate Nation.
You're listening to The Brian Bailey Show. Now, back to Brian.
All right, welcome back to our debut show here on the Brian Bailey Show. Great to be back here on Pirate Radio. Jon Gilbert, the Director of Athletics at East Carolina, is our first guest of the season. And, man, I don't even know where to start because I'm telling you, I told Jon this before we went on the air. And, he was doing a Zoom deal last week, and he did an interview or two, and I thought, it's going to be old news by the time we get together. But things change by the minute. I mean, literally, this whole thing changes. Every time you get on Twitter, something new's going on. I've got Clip Brock producing today. He's also on the Twitter feed trying to check out anything. He's going to break in with any kind of breaking news. It looks like as the latest is that the Big Ten may have postponed. There's a couple of media outlets saying that they've confirmed it. Right now, it's unconfirmed. The story is that the Big Ten and the Pac-12 will postpone their seasons. How does that impact East Carolina and Jon Gilbert and the American Athletic Conference?
Lot of impact. So, but I'm going to jump back to that one before we go there. What was the last time you were on the radio?
Last time I was on was the middle of March.
Okay, so think about all the things that have happened since the last time you were on the radio. Yeah. Major League Baseball, NBA, college sports across the line. And so obviously I've seen the reports coming out from not from the Big Ten directly, but from people affiliated. The Detroit Free Press, I think, was the one that released it. I think this situation, I've said it from the beginning, is so fluid. The information does change daily and hourly. I think it's going to be difficult, over the next, several days. I think we'll know by the end of the week kind of where we are as an industry in college athletics. Certainly we're monitoring this. I think the big factor is, people need to understand that these decisions are being made by presidents and chancellors. They're not made by athletic directors and football coaches. And so presidents are looking at the total enterprise and what the effect will be. And so any decisions that are made in each individual league, they're coming from presidents and chancellors.
Hey, Brian, I'll update
you are,
as I see things.
Dun, breaking news. What do you got?
And this might, it's kind of close home to you. I think Nicole Harbaugh from The Athletic just tweeted out that Old Dominion is canceling its fall sports season. So no fall sports for ODU.
Yeah, I know. I've talked to Wood Seelig there at Old Dominion a number of times, and I know Wood has been very vocal about that over the last several months of what it means. And I think the other piece is just the weekly things, the little things that we're having to do to kind of keep going where we are. I feel really good about our medical staff and what we're doing here at East Carolina. I mentioned before having Brody here and them assisting with our testing and the amount of time we get it back. I feel really confident about that. But the hard thing is we're not in a bubble. We're not like the NBA. They are in a bubble. Major League Baseball is not in a bubble. So
and you see what's happening there.
Our football progress, and I'm talking about nationally, our football is going to more resemble what Major League Baseball looks like.
Well, it's just a crazy time. And Clip, you jump in anytime you've got anything like that, because as we said, it's very, very fluid. Do you get the feeling in the things you're reading that the SEC is almost bound and determined to play if all hell breaks loose, they're still going to play?
Well, I think that certainly they're determined to play, and I think they want to play much like a lot of schools want to play.
And why is that compared to the Big Ten? I mean, what's the difference there?
Well, I think a lot of it's back to the presidents.
Yeah.
The presidents and chancellors are making these decisions in concert with the conference office, and so I think. You're looking at the geographical differences in this country. Different mentality in the Northeast, in the Midwest, in the West.
That's why we live in Greenwood, isn't it?
Well, and I'm not being critical of those areas. I'm just saying, just in different, they call it pop, we call it Coke or Pepsi, and I think you're just seeing that as decisions are being made. People are making decisions based on what they know and what's around them. And, people here, they want to play and want to do everything they can to try to do that. We just have to let it all play out.
If the SEC can play and the other conferences do play, the American, do you feel like they're going to follow suit with those conferences?
I think it's going to depend on the tone of the presidents and chancellors. Whether we we decide to pause until the spring. I don't think anything when they say we're not playing right now. I think everyone's hopeful that there'll be a spring season in the event they don't play this fall. And so I think the American, the last discussion or last meeting we had, everyone was in favor of playing as long as we could adhere to these protocols. That's still the case today unless new information presents itself.
All right, let's move forward to the 2020 season. The Marshall game. Talk about moving it. Is it official yet that it is the 12th, or is it not official?
We have not. Both parties have not signed the contract yet. So we've talked to Mike Hamrick. I've asked Mike to move the game. We are working on that. They're trying to finalize a game or two on their end. So I'm hopeful we'll be able to make an announcement the next day or two.
But it looks like the 12th is what the goal is?
5th or 12th, and should make it final the next day or so.
Okay. And now, if you move it to the 5th, what's the advantage of going from the end of August to the...
It gives you another week to prepare.
Right.
From a practicality standpoint, operationally, most of our people have been gone.
Right. And people don't realize that, but your whole staff it's a ghost town over there.
It is like the number of people that have actually been in the building that are working. It's not many. 15 maybe. So that piece is another component. My preference is the 12th. I think that's where we'll end up landing.
What all do you have to do to get the stadium ready for football?
Well, number one, it needs to be cleaned. It is dirty. We haven't played a game in it in a long time. So obviously we need to do that. We need. And
is that clean like a regular cleaning or a disinfected?
Both.
COVID-19.
Yeah. We'll do both. Okay. We'll do a normal cleaning like we would this time of year, and it's. This time of year we do a pretty thorough cleaning before the first game, but obviously this year we'll take extra precaution with that, and then we need to determine, what the ebb and flow is and what our capacity will look like.
Yeah.
It is all, people, you're seeing everything off the board from we're not going to play with any fans to we're going to play with 50%. And it's a wag. And there's no rhyme or reason. I think we're going to go by the process of we're going to get in front of local health officials, present our plan, find out what they're comfortable with from a fan standpoint, and then refine our plan from there to present it for approval. And so our hope is if we do indeed play games to have people there. I really don't want to play games without anyone there for a variety of reasons. So we'll see how that plays out.
But if you are able to play games, even if you don't have any fans, you'll still have some revenue streams that will come in by playing that you wouldn't have if you don't play.
Well, if you don't play, you have little to no revenue streams coming in. If you do play without fans, obviously you still would be able to get some TV money and some other residual things. Obviously no ticket sales, type revenue, no concessions, your licensing dollars are down. I mean, it has a ripple effect depending on who's in the stands or not.
And this is supposed to be the time where, and I've talked to several people at East Carolina, when you ride over to campus and people are, they're brushing up on this, they're working on that, they're trying to get ready. You guys are worried about, ticket sales, and, it's just been totally different. I mean, this is just crazy.
It has. I feel like I've been busier from March 14th to now than if we were in a normal environment.
I'm sure.
We've had a small group of staff that have been in the office, pretty much every day. It's been a lot of work and stressful trying to navigate some of this because, like we said before, you're getting information daily.
And you hate it almost seems like it's just so much negative talk. Like we've been on the air for now 15 minutes and it's so, but it doesn't mean to be negative. It's just that we're trying to figure out, there are some positives out there. You just got to kind of search for them, don't you?
Well, I think the positive is I was at the scrimmage on Saturday.
Yeah.
I was really encouraged about how we looked and where we're going.
We had a lot of energy on the defensive side of the ball. We run a lot better than we did last year. I see a lot of improvement from players that were here, last year. I feel like they've developed and gotten better. And then obviously the new individuals that were here, I was really encouraged about the energy on our defensive side of the ball. So I've been really encouraged about our student athletes. I'm also mindful of the way contact tracing works. If there's a positive, it is can be a little complex to understand, but it's something we're going to have to work through.
That was my next question, to talk about some of the things. Obviously, the testing. How often do you guys test in football?
Well, per the protocols right now, we're testing once a week if they're in season. So football, soccer, volleyball, cross country, they're considered in season right now. So we would test 100% of the individuals in those sports minus any individual that tests positive. So if you have had a positive person that has recovered and joined the group, we're not testing that individual, but we are testing everyone else. When we get in game week, we're going to test on Wednesday, results back on Thursday. If I'm the center and I test positive, you're the nose guard, I've kind of gone against you all week, you're negative on the Thursday test. But because I'm positive, we would go back, our medical staff would go back and say, who has Jon Gilbert come in close contact with? Well, we know the roommate, we've close contact. The nose guard he's gone against, close contact.
If he was doing the blocking like he was supposed to.
Has he gone, has he been in close contact with any other defensive lineman or offensive lineman? They're out. Has he been in close contact with his position coach? Has he been working? Have those individuals been in close contact without a mask on? They're out for 14 days, and it doesn't matter if they are negative or not. That per the medical protocols.
Really, I did not realize that part of
14 days, and so you can imagine. We've had some of that this fall camp where you go, now remind me why this guy's out, because he's negative. Well, he's been deemed a close contact. He's got a quarantine. And so it makes it very difficult. Everybody wants to play. I haven't run across any student athlete or coach that doesn't want to play. But I also understand the realities of what we're having to navigate with testing, quarantine, contact tracing, all those things. It makes it very complex.
So if I'm an assistant coach, say if I'm Coach Shankweiler with the offensive line, we're talking about our center again, I want to keep my mask on, and I don't want to get too close to any of the guys.
Well, you certainly want to keep your mask on. You want to limit your exposure where you're in close contact. So, like right now, if I test positive for COVID, there are a few people that I've been in close contact with that they probably would have to quarantine.
Do I count? Is that 14
No,
days?
I think we're still...
All right, we're 6 feet.
We're close enough.
Yeah, I'm going to move to the right for a little bit to get right. But that's fascinating to me, because I didn't understand that that's how the contact tracing works.
Yeah, and that's from the NCAA medical advisor group. That's not a ECU or a Jon Gilbert rule. That is, the medical protocols set forth by the NCAA. Also, if we played in a game and then the following week we had a positive, we would notify the school we had just played to say, hey, Brian Bailey.
Our center has it again. Your nose guard needs to be checked out.
That's right.
Does that nose guard have to go 14 days, or is that their decision?
Each medical group determines the contact tracing, and again, I feel really good about our medical group. They would decide that. That's not an AD or a coach decision.
Oh man, it's just. If you got Mike Oresco on speed dial, is he giving you guys a call at any time?
We've talked a time or two, and again, I think it is. There's a lot of want to out there. I think navigating this all, and the way institutions are set up it can be difficult to manage.
I'd say so. And you see some of the smaller conferences and Division II, they've called up because they can't afford to do any of this. This has got to be really expensive.
Well, not only that, but you also have the outlying issues that you're dealing with, where if you're a positive or if you're a close contact and you've got to quarantine, is where are those individuals going to live and house and eat and all those things? And I think these smaller schools are saying we don't have the staff nor the resources nor the infrastructure to support this.
And if this will be the last time I say anything like this, but if the season is wiped out, is there a plan in place that everybody will get their year back?
Well, obviously we would work with the NCAA, and I reiterated this to our student athletes that if something like that happened, I'm sure they're worried. Yeah, and I told them not to worry, that we would do everything we can to make sure that it didn't affect their eligibility. But obviously there's ramifications if that happens. I think if everything shuts down this fall, what you're going to see is people are going to say, let's see if we can play in the spring. And what does the spring look like? But I don't think you can have any discussion about the spring without talking about next fall, because I would not be in favor of...
That's a lot of games.
It's a lot of games.
Yeah.
And so I think that those two discussions have to go hand in hand. So I'm a little concerned about what a spring would look like.
And there's a report that the high schools may go to some type of October, November, December, January type schedule. But my question there is, what's going to change between now and November? Because that's just around I just don't, it's like nobody has an answer because nobody really knows what the questions are.
Well, I think a lot of it is it's posturing because of the unknown. Like there are some things that we don't know, and instead of making a definitive decision today, we're kicking the can down the road, hoping that there'll be further clarification when the time comes. And so I think if we do shut down, it is going to be a president-chancellor decision in concert with conference membership, and I'm talking about globally, not just ECU, globally. And then I think we'll look to the spring, but there's going to have to be a mitigating factor in the spring in order for us to play. That means there's either a vaccine or some mitigating factors that, from a health and safety standpoint, are making it possible to do that.
And how would all that work with, and this is all hypothetical, but the television contracts? And, there would be no bowl games, obviously, because you can't push those into the summer.
Well, I think maybe you could do something, if it does go to the spring, I think you could see some sort of limited exposure on that. Maybe the playoff still happens, but not the bowl games. Yeah. It's a lot.
That's a headache.
It is a lot.
All right, before we let you go, let's talk about a positive with the Grady White Boats deal. That was a big announcement from the end of last week, and that's when everybody in East Carolina and Greenville needed a big positive. That one came around.
Yeah, we've been working with Grady White Boats and Eddie Smith for a while on that. Some of the signage is already starting to come up, and that's why the announcement came when it did. We had been working towards that since December. Really generous of Eddie and Grady White's, and the thing that has been really impressed upon me from all my time with Eddie is how much he cares about this community, how much he cares about Eastern North Carolina. I know he loves living here, that this is his home. And so obviously if you look around town, he and his wife, Joe Allison, late wife, have made a lasting impression in this community. And I think, through my discussions with Eddie, he really wanted to do this. And it came at a great time from a positivity standpoint for someone like that to invest in this institution, our student athletes, I'll be forever grateful.
I tell you, it was big news from the other day, and you had the great line: "Every pirate needs a boat."
That's right.
Yeah, that was good stuff. I give a guy credit when he comes up with a great line. I thought that was good.
Yeah, we should have negotiated that on the front end.
I was going to say there should be one.
That the AD gets a Grady White boat to use in the summer. That probably would have put the cherry on the top.
That probably would have. What do you tell Pirate fans as we sit here on this Monday, August the 10th, to stay? How do you keep them positive? How do you keep everybody? Because this is what really is hurtful to a lot of us, is because this is the time of year we're all gearing up, getting fired up.
Yeah.
High school football is getting ready to start. College football, the Pirates. That's all we do. That's what we do.
Yeah,
and it's so exciting to think about. And this has just been another knocking.
I think number one, I am aware of what the financial impact of this is, and I don't mean to our athletic department. Certainly there are ramifications, but I look at the institution, this city, small businesses, it's a lot. And so I think that the important thing is to know that this truly is temporary. And I mean, it's not going to go on forever. Like, eventually,
that's what I keep hoping.
We're going to get through it, but it could be a while, and we're going to have to find other ways to entertain ourselves and to stay busy, and I think to stay positive, because in the event we don't play right now, there is the hope of the spring. We're going to have to be mindful. I do worry about everyone's mental health.
Yeah.
Our student athletes, our coaches, our staff, and then people in this community, because to your point, I love going to high school games.
Yeah.
And that's an important part of who we are. And I know that the sooner we can get back to that, the better.
It's just one of those things that, like the seniors last year, they didn't deserve it in their careers, especially the baseball guys. They played like an inning or two and they were gone. I mean, they didn't deserve to graduate like they did, with social distancing and virtual graduations. And my stepson Storm, he graduated in 3 years at East Carolina and had a virtual graduation. I mean, he don't deserve that, but
it's tough. And depending where you are as a student, where you fall, I've got a senior in college that this whole year she might be virtual.
Yeah.
And then the prospect of the job market,
can't be good.
Not good right now. And so it is really affecting everyone, but we're going to have to help each other stay positive through the process, because it is temporary, and I do believe at some point we will come out of it.
I know you got to go. I know you gave us a half an hour. We certainly appreciate it, John. Thanks so much for being on with us for our first show of the year. We certainly appreciate it. If you need anything our way, give us a call, because we'll certainly call you.
Well, I'll come back anytime. Enjoyed being on the show, and go Pirates.
Certainly appreciate it. Jon Gilbert, Director of Athletics at East Carolina, on the debut show for 2020 for the Brian Bailey Show. Back with more after this.
Hi, this is Jeff Charles, and this is a Pirate Radio Sports Break presented by Ron Ayers Motorsports, north of the airport on Highway 11 in Greenville. For the best and largest selection of motorcycles in eastern North Carolina, it's Ron Ayers. Over the weekend, the Mid-American Conference canceled football this fall and will move to a spring 2021 schedule. 9 of the 13 FCS conferences have canceled fall football. Independent UConn will also not play. The Orioles in the Nationals game was called off after 5.5 innings because of rain yesterday. The O's had a 5-2 lead. The game will resume on Friday. The Braves took a doubleheader from the Phillies, winning the first game 5-2 and the second contest 8-0. The Yankees lost to the Rays 4-3. The Red Sox beat the Blue Jays 5-3. The Tigers got by Pittsburgh 2-1. Detroit sweeps the 3-game series. And a sad note, professional wrestler Kamala, the Ugandan Giant, has died at the age of 70. This has been a Pirate Radio Sports Break.
Weekdays are a great time to visit North Carolina State Parks. The best time to learn about nature is to be able to look, listen, and feel its natural beauty. A visit to the North Carolina State Parks is perfect for homeschoolers, scout groups, and teachers looking for a fun field trip during the week. You'll be amazed at all the natural wildlife you'll see when you experience the beauty of each North Carolina State Park. Visit ncparks.gov to get all the information on the closest park near you.
This summer, may your days be long, your cannonballs large, and your subs giant. Order Jersey Mike's for your next backyard adventure. Just use our app for no-contact pickup or delivery. Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above. At Jersey Mike's, we've got everything you need to get outside this summer. Cold subs, crunchy chips, and cool drinks. The sunblock is up to you. Order through our app for no-contact pickup or delivery. Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
Know what I like most about my new phone from US Cellular?
I don't know.
That it was $700 off.
What? Switch to US Cellular and get $700 off the latest phones. US Cellular. Choose fair.
Promotional pricing requires an unlimited everyday or even better plan. New line, port in, credit approval, qualified smartphone purchase, and comes via monthly bill credit on a 30-month retail installment contract. Taxes, fees, and additional restrictions apply.
Does the idea of going to your local U.S. Cellular store make you feel a bit uncomfortable? Tired of the hassle of waiting and wearing a mask? Let Toby Williams and his outside sales team take away that worry. They will come right to your home or office and drop your phone off on the porch or at the front desk for you. Saving you time and worry is what the team at Cellular Warehouse is all about. Call Toby today at 252-799-7051 and let them help you with all of your wireless needs. Cellular Warehouse, your local U.S. Cellular authorized agent.
All right, in studio today with Wanda Montano, an East Carolina graduate and the new executive director of the Rocking Horse Ranch. Wanda, welcome. Tell us what's going on.
Rocking Horse is a wonderful nonprofit serving the community and providing therapeutic riding lessons and equine therapy for our students. We're having a lot of fun out at Rocking Horse Ranch, getting ready to reopen over the course of the summer, and we have lots of things planned for our clients to come back in. We're going to do a fundraiser in November, so save the date for November the 14th.
To learn more, visit rhrnc.com.
This is Brian Packard, ECU former baseballer. You're listening to Pirate Radio, the voice of Pirate Nation.
You're listening to The Brian Bailey Show. Now, back to Brian.
All right, welcome back on this Monday, our debut show for the new year on the Brian Bailey Show. As I mentioned with Jon Gilbert, 33 years in radio, 36 for TV, starting in, I think October 4th is my date that I started back in 1984. So it's good to be with you again, live on Facebook, live on YouTube, and all over the FM airwaves, all over the place. Clip Rock is going to join us. He's our producer for the show, and he's got some thoughts as well after Jon Gilbert exiting off the show. He's got so much going on right now. Clip, what did you take away from what Mr. Gilbert said today?
Mostly that ultimately the decision is out of the hands of Mike Houston and even Jon Gilbert for the most part.
Yeah.
I saw, while you guys were talking, a quote from Scott Satterfield, Louisville head coach, that said, we're moving forward no matter what's happening in these other conferences. Well, that sounds awesome, but it's not Scott Satterfield's call.
Right.
It's not the head coach's call. So it's kind of out of their hands, out of their control, and that's got to be a tough spot for them.
And, it almost looks like you're going to have a battle royale, whatever that thing is for wrestling. What do they call it, the battle royale?
Battle royal, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, the conferences are going to battle one another, because if the Big Ten doesn't play and the Pac-12 doesn't play, but the rest of them say, let's go, let's play.
What I want to hear is, and we are kind of hearing chirps of it. Just because they're dropping out doesn't mean we will.
Right.
Like when it comes to the SEC and things like that. I was talking to Glenn earlier, and I hate to say it, but if it's SEC at 3:30 on a Saturday and that leads into NFL on Saturday and that's all we got, I'll take it at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, I will watch Georgia and Arkansas play if I have to.
I'll watch them on an empty stadium and sit there and cheer them on.
And I'm just hoping that there's a little space in the dominoes where MAC and maybe Pac-12, Big 12 fall, but ACC and SEC and maybe AAC are left standing here.
I really thought we'd get to a point where everybody would start, and that maybe after a while, if there was a lot of positive tests and things weren't going, kind of like baseball, that they might, and baseball hasn't stopped yet, but there's a lot of talk about that. But I thought maybe the leagues would all start on time or start close to on time, and then decide as they go. But I'm kind of surprised to hear some of the stuff coming out of the Big Ten, and it just sounds like the Big Ten and the Pac-12 has decided they're done. They're not going to worry about it. I don't know how a spring season would work.
No, I just don't think it will, because you have to think about when does 2021 football fall start if you end in the spring. So I don't see how that works. Another thing that came out while you were talking to Jon Gilbert, Bailey, is Jim Harbaugh put out a statement, and his statement was, he ended it with #we want to play. So Michigan, the school, voted to cancel the 2020 football season. The head coach,
according to the report from Dan Patrick,
the head coach disagrees with that decision. You're going to have this too, coaches and athletic administrators maybe going against what their president says, but it's out of their hands.
The report that Dan Patrick had today is the Big Ten voted 12-2 to postpone the season. Nebraska and Iowa were the two schools that voted to play. And Patrick also said he thought the Big Ten and the Pac-12 would cancel as early as tomorrow. And then the Detroit Free Press says that they have confirmed the fact that the Big Ten has canceled its season. So it's breaking news all over the place. It's fluid as you can possibly get as far as the college football season is concerned, and really, it's there's so much mystery about the whole COVID-19 deal and how it's handled, and teams are doing so much work to try to get the thing under control and try to educate everyone, and you just don't know when it's going to stop. As we said, the North Carolina High School Athletic Association says they hope to know something by the end of this week or the first part of next week. I think they set was August 17th to know more about their spring season, or their fall season, to see if they're going to have football or not. But at the earliest, we would have high school football at the end of September.
And I've had Nate Connor and Will Bland on the show in previous weeks. Conley Rose planning to have Todd Lipe at Aiden Grifton on tomorrow. And speaking of out of their control, they've been doing all they can under the rules to get their players ready for some kind of season, and then they just don't know if it's going to happen.
I think Todd Lipe said it best. I saw him the other day, and he said, the bad part is we're doing all the hard stuff now, and the guys may not get rewarded. And that's right. I remember playing high school football. I remember we used to have 2-a-day practices. I'd come home, go to bed, and wake up just in time to go to the next practice, and just hope I could survive that one to get home again, because it was so hot and so. But you lived for those Friday nights.
You knew that those games were going to be the reward.
Yeah, you knew. Yeah, and that's just right now. You just don't know what you're going to get as far as those games are concerned.
And I heard a scenario from someone, Bailey, and you talked about playing a season kind of later this calendar year, but I've also heard the idea of a high school spring football season kicked around, which I think is much more doable than college, where they could kind of, I don't know how they would flip and what they do with basketball and baseball, but
that's the big question there, because so many athletes play both,
especially with your 1A and 2A schools,
right? Especially with 1A and 2A, but even on the 3A and 4, you have guys that are outstanding athletes that want to play more than one sport, and then if you do it that way, I think that the model that someone told me about was the November, December, January football, and then the February, March basketball, and then the baseball after that, and maybe squeeze them all in. The football would be played with no state championships, but that's just a model, nothing official. Right. That's just talk. We don't know how it's going to play out, but that's another thing. I mean, you're going to start a football season knowing you can't win a state championship. Now, for some schools, that doesn't bother. If you're at Tarboro and you have to do all that practice and all that running, and then all of a sudden they say, hey, you can't win a state championship, that's what they play for. That's what they live for.
No, you're right. I do think for a lot of these schools, though, just to know you could play your conference rivals and things like that, true. You could get a season in. I don't know. Yeah. Again, it is nice that they are kicking around ideas instead of just saying canceled. But
right.
But all these things are just kind of throwing ideas against the wall right now.
And when you wake up, I used to love to wake up and watch ESPN, Sports Center in the morning, and watch some of the shows. And now all you have is talking heads talking negatively about everything.
Well, you say negatively, but it's what's good.
I know. It's not. It's basically the topic, right? There's not a whole lot good. I agree with you there, because it's not like they can.
I mean, you can bury your head in the sand,
right? And which I've thought about a couple of times.
And when we do our position previews and practice reports, we're only talking about football,
right?
As if it's going to happen. But you can't be naive
right,
to what's going on out there.
I guess I'm looking at the ones that they hear something and then their first thought is, well, it's done. The college football season's done. I mean, and maybe it is, but
you don't want to hear it. I know.
No, we don't want to hear it.
And again, we're really focusing on college sports, but Bailey, I watched so much basketball, baseball, NASCAR, golf. I watched everything I could over the weekend when I had a moment, to sit down and turn the TV on, because, like you said, you didn't take it for granted before, but you certainly never will again. And I'm watching everything I can right now before it's taken away from me again.
I was talking with Jon Gilbert before we went on the air, and I said, did you watch the PGA Championship? And he said he did. And I told him, I said, man, I was trying to keep up with Harold Varner, who did very, very well. And I was
got off to an awesome start.
Oh, you did? Yeah, on the final round. I watched so much golf, watching Tiger and Phil Mickelson. They weren't even close to being in the hunt, but they show all day. When you watch that much golf, it'll give you a headache, I'm telling you, because it went. I mean, they were on for 6 hours of coverage before the leaders even teed off.
Right.
Because it was just all day, all day long with golf, and it was fun to watch. It was some great shots.
Redbeard on Twitter asks you and I, what are the issues with having college football in the spring? I think, for one, just the dates and how it lines up, where you're stopping a season, then you're preparing for a brand new season.
That's one of the big things, because you're used to having a month of spring football practice and one game basically. Then you're talking about moving. Say you move. Say, for argument's sake, 8 conference games to the spring, if that's all you can get a chance to play. So you're looking at least 2.5 months of football there, and then to get back started. And then some of the players that are going to be eligible for the draft, they're not going to want to play. I wouldn't think
that's an issue. I can get by that, because I think you will find enough people to play if that were the case. But yeah, you're going to have all those guys that sit one bowl game out. Surely they're going to sit a season out, because the draft is during your season, basically, or right after your season. So,
and the Power 5 players, they put out a release. They had a meeting last night at some point and put something out that the hashtag We Are United, hashtag We Want to Play, and they put this out. We all want to play football this season, but they want these things to happen. Establish universal mandated health and safety procedures and protocols to protect college athletes against COVID-19 among all conferences throughout the NCAA. They want to give players the opportunity to opt out and respect their decision, to guarantee eligibility whether a player chooses to play the season or not, and to use their voices to establish open communication and trust between players and officials, ultimately creating a College Football Players Association. And that's from the representatives of the players of all 5 of the Power 5 conferences. So that came out, I saw it earlier this morning. I think it came out late last night. So what do you think of that document?
Hey, great. Let's play.
Let's play. Tee it up.
It is kind of interesting that and we do this in life with a lot of things. We only hear, what we want to hear. We only, stick to sports unless I agree with you politically. Then you can talk all you want.
Right.
And it's kind
but
of.
If I don't agree with you politically,
stick to sports.
Exactly. Yeah. That's crazy.
Very hypocritical. But there's been a lot of, I'm sick of these players. Don't listen to these players. And then when they say we want to play, it's like, hey, let's listen to the players.
Yeah, exactly.
No, don't listen to the part about how they want to get paid and stuff. Only listen to the part that they want to play. So we kind of pick and choose what we want to hear.
Clemson quarterback Trevor Lawrence was a part of that deal that did that, and I've always liked him as a player. So hopefully that thing will get done. But
it's just out of their hands.
Yeah.
But maybe their voices will be heard, and it will have some kind of impact.
And we don't know. I'm sitting here on radio on a Monday. I'm supposed to go back and work at the station, the studio, next Monday, but we don't know what sports is going to look like over the next week? We have no idea right now.
Yeah.
Some of it's fascinating, but some of it is depressing because, as you said, I've said the same thing. I try to be positive all the time, but there's so much negativity about things that we can't control. When there's a better chance right now that the college football season is not going to be played than it is. I was saying 50-50 before. Now, what do you say now? 70-30? 80-20?
Probably less than that.
Yeah.
Part of this is my fault because I was optimistic last week that there would be college football.
I saw that.
And as soon as I get excited about something, something bad happens.
Yeah.
And again, I'm legitimately enjoying the NBA bubble. I mean, we got drama in there, guys talking junk. Like, that's been a lot of fun. My Braves are winning. Your Cubs are winning, or they were last time I checked.
They are.
They're doing good. So, like...
They couldn't play all weekend because the Cardinals were sick.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's why I hadn't seen them in a while.
That's right.
But, so there are things I am enjoying in the world of sports. The big dark cloud, obviously, is this is Pirate Radio. We want to cover ECU football. If there's none of that, if there's no Touchdown Friday, that's tough.
No, that is tough, and that was. I broke down. I cried. I was talking to my son Rhino the other day. We're going to go play golf in Pinehurst on Thursday, but he said, "What are you going to do with no high school football?" And I was like, "Man, don't ask me questions like that. I'll start tearing up." And I did. I mean, it was just like, when you've done something all your life and you market something like that, and you live for that, and I walk around all July preparing for it. We haven't prepared one thing because we know it.
Yeah,
it's not going to happen for a while. If it does get a chance to happen, so there you go. Let's kick it back in with positivity. Let's take a break. We'll come back. My good friend Brian Meador is going to join us for a couple of minutes.
Mr. Positive.
Yeah. I was going to say that's not exactly where we really want to go, but no, we love him. Have him next after this.
This is my new Shakaroni pizza. Extra cheese, extra pepperoni right to the edge, and the biggest slices in Papa John's history. But it's bigger than pizza because $1 from each sale is donated to support communities.
Hey pizza fans, order the new Shakaroni pizza with double pepperoni and extra cheese loaded to the edge for only $12. Place your order today online at papajohns.com and sign up for Papa Rewards. Papa John's, the official pizza of the ECU Pirates.
I'm Michael Vaughn with East Coast Grading and Utilities. Many of you know my dad, David Vaughn, and his work in putting in subdivisions all over Pirate Nation. But East Coast Grading and Utilities is not just for those type of big jobs. We're here for the homeowners. Whether it's concrete, driveways, hauling rock, or sand, whatever you need, East Coast Grading and Utilities can get the job done. Call us at 252-531-7494 or check us out on Facebook at East Coast Grading and Utilities.
I'm Sam Jones, and for more than 3 generations, my folk burning for Eastern North Carolina Whole Hog Barbecue. At Sam Jones, you'll find our smokehouse pumping out wood-fired meats, cooked fresh every single day. There are no freezers at our place. Everything, and we mean everything, is made fresh daily, including our sides, sweets, and sauces. Stop in and see us, and I bet you'll be able to taste our passion in just one bite. At Sam Jones Barbecue, you'll find plenty of smoke, but no mirrors.
Bostic Sugg Furniture wants to know, how'd you sleep last night? If you're like thousands, the answer is probably not very well. You're tired, stressed, your job suffers, and worse, your health suffers. Get better sleep on a Restonic mattress, a Consumer's Digest Award winner 13 years running. Restonic Queen mattresses start as low as $4.99. Restonic two-sided Queen mattresses from only $6.99. If you're ready to wake up to a whole new you, we have a Restonic mattress waiting for you exclusively at Bostic Sugg Furniture.
Great food, great atmosphere, and great service is Ativola Market Cafe. Ativola is simply a restaurant that focuses on that, being a great restaurant. There's something for everyone at Ativola. The menu offers a variety of great choices like pastas, pizzas, sandwiches, soups, salads, and seasonal rotating selections. Lunch or dinner, Ativola is always the right call. Call ahead and get Ativola to go, or stop by the bar for a drink with friends. It's simple. Come and eat at Ativola Market Cafe, Red Banks Road next to Food Lion, and AtivolaMarket.com. Ativola, Pirates supporting Pirates.
This is Coach Steve Shankweiler, offensive line coach for East Carolina University football, and you're listening to Pirate Radio, the voice of the Pirate Nation.
You're listening to The Brian Bailey Show. Now, back to Brian.
Man, Shirley did a great job with that new music, didn't she? That's good stuff. Welcome back to The Brian Bailey Show on this Monday. We're live with you in the noon hour and archived at the 6 o'clock hour. Jon Gilbert joined us earlier today. The number 2 man at East Carolina as far as the athletic department is concerned is Brian Meador. He's online with us now, our good friend. Meador, you making it all right, son?
I can tell you right now, my paycheck doesn't reflect my number 2 status here.
Oh man! Well, we need some positivity, so we're calling you up.
Oh, I'm always positive, man. You know me.
Yeah.
Until I'm not. Unless I'm having to be truthful about things that aren't positive. God knows about those things, but now you know what? I know it's really tough right now because I see the kids and how hard they're working at practice, and I know media hasn't been allowed out there, but it's been really interesting to watch. This whole thing kind of develop, and everybody has a plan in place. They have all their protocols and this, that, but you really don't know what you get until you walk out there and you see how the players are going to respond, how the coaches make the kids respond, and I'm talking about everything from following protocols to listening. It's a challenge, man. Kids, especially this last couple of generations, it's hard to make them listen to you and what you have to say, unless you're like Steve Shankwell and you get right in their face and yell at them, which is always fun to watch.
Coach Shank.
Coach Shank's the man. I love that guy. But no, and everybody from top to bottom down. I talked to Jake Moore at every practice. He's our head trainer for football, and I commend him for he keeps his staff in check, and they're on the players. If you don't have your helmet on, you got to pull your gaiter up, or mask, whatever you're wearing, and when they're walking in and out, it's hard to control that many, especially 18 to 21-year-olds. It's hard to control them for what they're going to do, and I got to tell you, man, those guys have done a fantastic job. Even though I think there were some early growing pains because those kids just weren't going to listen, and you saw that with some of the test results we had early. But then, I do think that they've done just a terrific job of catching them up and getting them where they need to be, so that we can, at least on our end, on our side of things, at East Carolina, we've got it in good shape where if we do play, I do feel like we'll be okay. And I just, unfortunately, I'm seeing all the dominoes start to fall, and I'd love to be positive, Brian, but I don't know right now.
Well, to me, it's like if you're Holton Ahlers, you're the quarterback. You kind of know your role. You're a leader on the team. You're getting ready to go to practice, and you're on Twitter, and you're looking through Twitter, and you see that the Big Ten, that one media outlet has confirmed that they've canceled their season or postponed their season. The Pac-12 may postpone theirs as early as tomorrow, and you see that. And it's got to be frustrating and hard to go to practice thinking like, man, what's next? We're working our butts off out here, and are we going to get a chance to play?
I've talked to Olsen many times about that, even dating back a couple of months back, and it's he basically is like the other kids. They just want to play, man. They just turn us loose, let us go play, and and they know. And this may not be the responsible thing to say, but those kids all think they know they're bulletproof when it comes to this virus. Everybody who's a college student thinks
right.
They don't think they're going to get it, and they behave that way. When they go to their little parties and they aren't doing the things they probably should or could be doing. But these kids, statistically speaking, aren't the ones who are at high risk. That doesn't mean they can't carry it and hand it off to somebody who is. I get that, but I'm talking about the mentality of a college student or a college athlete today. They want to get out there and get it on. I know there are a lot of them that are concerned. But when you see players come out and as a group and say, "No, we're united. We want to play. We want to do it under certain conditions," you like to see that because you like to see it because that means they're being smart about it. They're not just being, "No, man, I want to go play. I don't care." And you like to see, "No, I want to play, but I want to make sure we're being safe at how we do it." And that's what I like to do.
I was fascinated by Jon Gilbert saying about the contact tracing deal that here's a deal if the center gets it and he's been battling against the nose guard, that the nose guard may have to sit out 14 days in quarantine.
Or 6 days. I think it's 6 days if they're just around them. I thought that was the case, or if they're within 6 feet. I thought that was the case. 14 days if you test positive. Is that not accurate?
I'm not. What John said, it sounded like 14, but either way, 6 or 14. I mean, you're looking at. It's got to be hard to even scrimmage. If you scrimmage, you're putting everybody. They're in tight like that, and it's hard to see how you can have football.
And Jake Moore's responsible for a lot of that tracing. That's a lot of work, man.
Yeah.
Hours of trying to figure out, okay, he was around this guy, they did this at this point, and then you got to look at who tested positive around that area. Then you can start narrowing down where it possibly could have come from. But let's just say I think my numbers. I think they're right. I could be wrong. Maybe something's changed. But I got that from Coach Houston, weeks ago. But think about it this way. I'm at lunch, and the guy who tested positive just happened to walk a few feet from me. Well, you know what? By rule, you were in close contact with him. You got a quarantine, and I'm pretty sure it was a week because you didn't test positive. Even though you tested negative, you got a certain period where you could still test positive. Anyway, but you're losing 6 days of conditioning.
Right.
The guys at least 6 days, and then the guys who test positive, they're losing 2 weeks. So I think that's what you saw a lot of out there the other day, and it's something Mike has touched on since we started camp. Was the conditioning is not anywhere near where he wants to see it. It's to be expected to some degree because these kids were on their own for so long. But when you don't have somebody barking in your ear, you're not going as hard. I don't care how much you say you're working hard on your own. You've been joking about Holton's redneck training facility he had in his backyard for weeks now. But
hillbilly workout.
Hillbilly workout. You can't tell me that when somebody's barking in your ear, you might go a little bit harder, or if the guy next to you is running just a little bit harder. Competition, breeds competition, and so when I see them out there Saturday, and they just didn't have that. There were a few guys here or there that had a little pop to them, but overall the speed wasn't there, and I think you saw that. Defense is always ahead on the first scrimmage. We've talked about that for as long as I've held a camera at a scrimmage, but this one was significantly toward the defense.
Brian Meador joining us. We'll take a final commercial break. We'll come back. Hang with us through the break, Meador. Back with more after this.
Let me tell you a thing or two about the people who don't compromise. For starters, they love a nice, cold Pepsi Zero Sugar. Why? Because it's delicious, it's refreshing, and it has zero sugar. How's that for not compromising? They're the sort of person that likes surf with their turf. Because who decided beef shouldn't have a buddy? And a drink with their feast? Yeah, they have a Pepsi Zero Sugar. The person who doesn't compromise loves a good golden doodle. All the golden retriever goodness with just a hint of doodle. No compromises there. Oh, and when they're bringing said golden doodle for a walk, they bring a Pepsi Zero Sugar. They're the kind of person jorts were made for. 50% jeans, 50% shorts, 100% the most comfortable thing that's ever graced your wardrobe. Not compromising never looked so good. So crack open a Pepsi Zero Sugar and taste what it's like to have it all. Pepsi Zero Sugar. Zero sugar done right. That's what I like.
First came the PCC location, then came the ECU location on Jarvis Street. Now introducing the newest store at 10th Street at the Food Line near Walmart. It's Angus Grill 3. 3 restaurants featuring all of your favorite burgers and more. They've got your classic Angus, steak burger, brisket burger, black and blue burger, sweet sriracha burger, jalapeno popper burger. You get the idea. Now with 3 options for the best burger in town. Angus Grill at PCC, Angus Grill at ECU, and now Angus Grill at 10th Street in the Food Line Shopping Center. It's Greenville's best burger, times 3.
Register for Army ROTC to be a leader and an officer in the U.S. Army, Army Reserve, or Army National Guard. You could also be eligible for a full tuition scholarship. Lead the team that makes a difference. To learn more, contact Dale Anderson at 252-622-5346 or Anderson, DAL, at ECU.edu. Paid for by the United States Army.
There's nothing like Pirate Game Days.
He's got the ball. He starts right. He goes left, and there he goes. 10, 5, touchdown Pirates. Home Nailers takes it in from 21 yards out.
The sight of a tailgate. The roar of the crowd. Support the Pirate Club and buy your season tickets today by visiting ECUPirates.com. We're in this together. All hands on deck. One Pirate Nation.
It's almost quitting time, but your family's hunger is gearing up for the night shift. Now you could unload groceries, chop, dice, mince, preheat, heat, slap around the smoke detector, and then celebrate with a big old pile of dishes. Or you could drop a big bow box on it. Because whether you need an 8, 12, or 20 piece with biscuits, fixins, and tea, you can clock out and spend some quality time with a delicious dinner. Now when it comes to sneaking a biscuit on the drive home, that's all you. Bojangles, it's bow time.
Pirate Radio. Pirate Radio. Pirate Radio.
You're listening to The Brian Bailey Show. Now, back to Brian.
All right, welcome back to the show. Wrapping things up with Brian Meador, who joined us in the back half hour of our show. Before we go, Meador, give us the plans for the Mike Houston show, whether there's a season or not. What are we doing?
Okay, so you asked me to give you some kind of positivity.
There you go.
And I hesitated because I don't know if this is positive or not, because I don't know if J.J. Lamb can stand seeing you around campus that much more than you already are. But
he doesn't like where I park.
He just like you park anywhere you like, and that's what he doesn't like. You got the Brian Bailey rules that apply.
That's right.
We are going to go. We met with Megan Henson from IMG, and of course the good folks. We've got this great partnership with WNCT, and you guys were great about saying, you know what, if you want to do a show, let's do a show. And Megan's out there still beating the pavement, making it happen. We are going to do a Mike Houston television show, regardless if we play the season or not. We can focus on other things other than game highlights, features, coaches things. There are all kinds of behind-the-scenes things that are available to us that we can do. And if nothing else, it keeps people at home, in the know of what's going on. The kids are going to keep working out and training and doing their thing, even if we don't play a season. So there are stories to tell there, and you and me are going to do our best to get in the middle of it and maybe get into some trouble along the way, but we're going to keep cranking out that show every Sunday at 11:30 on WNCT.
Sounds good. Brian Meador joining us today. Thanks so much for your time. Thanks so much to Jon Gilbert, Director of Athletics at East Carolina. Show number 1 is in the books. We'll be back here next Monday with The Brian Bailey Show. Have a great day, everybody.